So we are here today with Philippe Karsenty. I wanted to share with you a story that is happening in France. It's quite stunning regarding how media can sometimes be not really reliable. So I just want going to check to ask a question to Philippe to present himself in a second and present the case that happened around the Muhammad Al-Dura story in Israel a few years ago and the way it was treated by the media. Philippe, hello. How are
Hello,
you?
hello again.
How are you?
Fine, thank you very much. And you?
Fine, thank you. So where are you now? You're in Paris?
I'm in Paris now,
So
beautiful Paris. The weather is great.
weather is great. I wanted to ask you to like introduce you for a few seconds and tell us what happened a few years back here in Israel and what happened with the media.
Well, 8 years ago, France2, the French public TV, broadcast a news report showing a boy dying in his father's arms, Muhammad Al-Dura. And it was the beginning of the Intifada. It was a year before 9/11, and it inflamed the Muslim world for the coming years. I mean, everybody used this picture in order to incite against Israel and the Jews. Synagogues started to burn all over Europe and all over the world. And Bin Laden launched videotapes with these pictures in order to incite against the Jews. And you had all over the world streets, postage stamps, buildings, everything was named after Muhammad Al-Dura.
So
The main
who made this video?
This videotape has been done by a Palestinian cameraman whose name is Talal Abu Rahma. He sent his material to Charles Underlin, who's the bureau chief of France2 in Jerusalem. This guy edited the movie, sent it to France2, who broadcast it and offered it for free to all the TVs in the world. And the main problem is that this news report is a complete hoax, a stage hoax, meaning that at the end of the film, neither the father nor the boy received any bullets. So it's a complete acting, Hollywood, Palestinian Hollywood.
So how do you know that nothing happened and the video that was at least to the fact that were related were fake? What happened exactly? How can you prove that?
We investigated for the last 7 years, and let me give you a few examples. First, they say that the father and the boy were at a distance of 80 meters from the Israeli soldiers, and they claim, and France2 claim, that the soldiers shot for 45 minutes at the father and the boy continuously in order to shoot them, which is completely ridiculous. At 80 meters, it doesn't take more than 5 seconds to anyone to shoot a fixed target of this size. Second, you can see that at the end, when they claim that the father received 12 bullets and the boy 3, none of them has a single drop of blood. 15 bullets and not a single drop of blood. And at the end, we got the material when the boy was dead. We got the 10 following seconds. And in the 10 following seconds, you have the boy who raises his elbow like this, looks at the cameraman and puts down his elbow, which is completely ridiculous. And at the end of the videotape, you can see that the boy who's supposedly dead has his feet up. You cannot have your foot up when you're dead. It doesn't work.
So what you're saying is that there was a tape that was filming the so-called death of a father and his son, but that you managed to prove that they were not really dead. And then what happened? I mean, this video went all over the world, and
they said that the father was severely injured with 12 bullets and the boy dead. So we realized that none of them received any bullets at that time. What happened after is that for years we tried in France. For 4 years we tried to have France2, the French public TV, admit the fraud and acknowledge that they did broadcast a fake news report. They refused. So what we did, I decided to publish a very provocative article on my website, and they sued me for defamation.
What is your website?
My website is Media Ratings. It's www.m-r.fr, m-r.fr.
So you published the article, and then what happened after?
And then they sued me for defamation. Okay? So when they sued me for defamation, the trial took place 2 years later, and at the trial, the government advisor said that I was right, that I brought enough evidence that it was staged. But they received a letter of Jacques Chirac. At that time, he was the French president, and then I was found guilty because this guy was supporting the hoax. So I went to the appellate court, and on appeal, then I was able to show and to bring some more material, and France2 was forced to bring their raw material, the big film from edited the little 1 minute film, and then everything was obvious. So I was found not guilty of defamation. It was last May. I won the trial, but despite that, France2 refused and still refuse to reveal the truth and to admit that they broadcast a fake news report. And the main problem is that this news report is not one among the other ones. It's the news report of the 21st century. I mean, Daniel Pearl was killed to avenge this image. So many people died because of this image. So it's a real stage hoax. And now, thanks to foreign media, we start to have breakthrough, and we have, for example, last week the German public TV, which broadcast a news documentary which explains all the lives of France2, and it's devastating for them. But they put so much energy in order to cover up this lie that there is no way for them to admit it. So the only way for us to have the truth revealed is to make a huge pressure through the international I would say international ways.
Media community. So you managed to, you won this trial that allows you to express yourself freely on the case. And in France, actually, I never heard about this case. So I guess the level of coverage in France was really close to zero. But you mentioned that when we talked before that you had the full page on the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, a page and a half in the Wall Street Journal when I won. We had lots of coverage all over the world, except in France. France is living like a little...
Why? Because why wouldn't there be any coverage?
Because the media corporatism is so big that it's like a small USSR. The information doesn't come inside. They just read the news in Le Monde or in Le Figaro, and even when they covered a little bit the story, they twisted the fact in order not to reveal the truth. So it's a complete situation where nobody here in France knows anything about the case, except if they go on the internet and they go on side websites in order to
but I guess bloggers talked about it. It's also
yes, lots of bloggers in America. I mean, when I travel in America, I'm very I have lots of support from people. I'm lecturing all over America in the biggest universities: Stanford, Harvard, UCLA. I mean, the biggest universities invite me. I'm invited also in India, in Italy, in Germany, anywhere in the world. But in France, there is like a censorship, self-censorship. Most of the media outlets, most of the journalists in France signed a petition to support the guy who did the fraud, Charles Anderlin.
So, is it possible to see somewhere this extra footage, the part of the videos that were not broadcasted at the time?
Yeah, just Google my name on YouTube or Google Al-Dura, A-L space D-U-R-A on YouTube, and then you'll find a lot of material. You'll see, for example, the 10 seconds. And if you go on my website, on the homepage of my website, there are links which leads you to the 10 seconds when you see the boy raising his elbow when he's dead.
That's quite a stunning story. Like now you're being watched by bloggers and internet users. What can we do to make this story more consistent?
Well, I think that the main problem now is a political problem. France2 belongs to the state. Now it has to be a decision from the head of the state, which is Nicolas Sarkozy. And Nicolas Sarkozy, unfortunately, is surrounded by people who don't let him touch the story and understand the story. But this is a very historical story. It's very bad to see that Nicolas Sarkozy, who's not an anti-Semitic guy, who's a straight guy, is surrounded by people who prevent him from avoiding this anti-Semitic blood libel. It's a red blood libel. It's the worst blood libel that has ever been done against Israel and the state of Israel and the Jews.
Well, Philippe, thanks a lot for this testimony. It's going to be published soon on the internet, and we'll see how people react.
Thank you very much, Riel. Thank you, all my friends. Bye-bye.
Bye.